A decade earlier, psychologist Stanley Milgram had also looked at how we respond to authority. In order to understand how people were induced to obey unjust regimes and participate in atrocities such as the Holocaust, he set up an experiment. Volunteers were told they were taking part in scientific research to improve memory.
Would you open those and tell me which of you is which, please? Teacher. Where? Teacher.
Separated by a screen, the teacher would ask the learner questions in a word game and administer an electric shock when the answer was incorrect. He was told to increase the voltage with each wrong answer.
Cloud. Horse. Rock. House. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer. Horse.
Oh. Experiment. That's all. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, please.
Continue, please. Go right on.
I refuse to go in. Let me out.
Refuses to go in. The experiment requires you continue, teacher. Please continue.
Participants didn't know that the learner was really an actor and the so-called shocks harmless.
You're gonna get a shock. 180 volts.
Oh. I can't stand the pain. Let me out of
You
here.
can't stand it now. I'm not gonna kill that man, eh? I mean, who's gonna take the responsibility if anything happens to that gentleman? I'm responsible for anything that happens here. Continue, please. All right, next one. Slow. Walk, dance, truck, music.
Two-thirds of volunteers were prepared to administer a potentially fatal electric shock when encouraged to do so by what they perceived as a legitimate authority figure. In this case, a man in a white coat.
375 volts. I think something's happened to that fellow in there. I don't get no answer. He was hollering for less voltage. Can't you check in to see if he's all right, please?
Milgram's findings horrified America. They showed that decent American citizens were as capable of committing acts against their conscience as the Germans had been under the Nazis.
Appeal against deportation. They have all legal remedies available. I'm asking you a question. Yes, that's what the law says. No, it's not. It's against the Constitution. ICE is breaking the Constitution. They are a Gestapo force led by Trump. You are out of your mind. Really, did the Supreme Court rule as such? Literally, yes. Because if it's against the Constitution, I can't support it. It's against the Constitution! Welcome to the correct side!
Thank you so much for having us here. And really, this decision by the Supreme Court, this is an emergency stay. As you mentioned, the Supreme Court has decided that the government can move forward in implementing this harmful discriminatory policy that...
We're now moving to, instead of the government acting as a proprietor of identifiable documentation, they are now the proprietors of label czars. They tell you what you are and who you are, as if that's their business at all.
Printing passports that do not reflect who an individual is.
There is a Supreme Court ruling that is basically stating that there are two genders and that you can only have male or female on your passport. Previously, it was allowed that you could just have X as like a third choice, but nope, we're going back to the gender binary for literally no reason other than for the current administration to flex their powers and stomp on the rights of trans people and make them more fearful to exist, and send the message that you are not welcome. There's not a place for you here. Don't the large majority of trans community adapt to either one of the gender? The problem is not... Like, if you're male transitioning to female, the federal government won't let you put female on your passport. It would still have to say male, even though you don't identify as male. And X, I mean, why is the government in the business of inspecting your genitals in the first place? I shouldn't have to declare my fucking name, but if it helps for your records, sure, you know? But your gender has got to be the most unnecessary identifier on your passport, and yet they are making that a hot button issue just to distract from the Epstein's files. It's an important medical statistic. I don't know about that. It's just culture war shit to distract from Gaza, to distract from the Epstein files, to distract from disappearing people, having an ethnic cleansing on American soil. It is the Nazi project of cleansing your country of who you deem to be degenerate. If the government doesn't know how many males and females, they won't be able to make informed medical policies. I don't know about that. But your worry is something that will never happen. There are no evidence of any ethnic cleansing, and unsure in response to the above message. What do you think, song singer, what do you think is happening? What do you think ICE is doing when they arrest, kidnap people where the only common denominator is that they are brown? ICE is deporting criminals. No, they're not. They are kidnapping legal citizens and murdering and brutalizing some of the most hardworking people in this country. If you cross the border illegally, you are a criminal. Okay, let's say they are criminal. Does that mean that they don't deserve due process? Crossing the border is the same level of offense of jaywalking, my guy. But let's say it is a crime. And it's a worse crime than jaywalking. Does that mean they deserve to be thrown on the ground, thrown into unmarked vans by people without badges and in masks? They can file an appeal against deportation. They have all legal remedies available. I'm asking you a question. Yes, that's what the law says. No, it's not. It's against the Constitution. ICE is breaking the Constitution. They are a Gestapo force led by Trump. You are out of your fucking mind. Really, did the Supreme Court rule as such? Literally, yes. Because if it's against the Constitution, I can't support it. It's against the Constitution! Welcome to the correct side! It was a weird path for you to get here, but really, can you show me the ruling? Why don't you fucking Google it, fuckhead? Why is it on me? The burden of proof is not on me. With your ignorant ass. Look that shit up yourself. Okay, don't bully me. You're the one saying fascist horse shit. Get fucked. Oh, don't bully me. I only thought that... Get fucked. You're saying some of the most heinous horse shit that you can possibly say. Now I get what you mean by not patient enough, like Jovan. Yes. See what I mean? Public shaming is what you deserve. Public shaming is what people need to hear. Because they're going hog wild. Killing people. People have died over this misunderstanding, so-called. People have died over your ignorance. Because the majority of Americans are fine with what's happening. Because they are misinformed and brainwashed. Yeah, shit rubs me the wrong way, man. There was an experiment where they tested to see how far people would go under fascist conditions. The Milgram experiment?
A decade earlier, psychologist Stanley Milgram had also looked at how we respond to authority. In order to understand how people were induced to obey unjust regimes and participate in atrocities such as the Holocaust,
pay attention, song singer, because this is how you were brainwashed.
He set up an experiment. Volunteers were told they were taking part in scientific research to improve memory.
Would you open those and tell me which of you is which, please? Teacher. Where?
You've been asked to participate in a regime where you are expected to see the brutalization of minorities, and you are expected to view that as normal. Alright?
Separated by a screen, the teacher
That is your expectation. That is the expectation of you.
would ask the learner questions in a word game and administer an electric shock when the answer was incorrect. He was told to increase the voltage with each wrong answer.
Cloud. Horse. Rock. House. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer. Horse.
Experiment. That's all. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, please.
Continue, please. Go right on.
All right. I refuse to go on. Let me out.
Now this is where you're faced with the conundrum of, well, there's people suffering. You're telling me to be okay with this, but there's a dude on the other side being...
The experiment requires you continue, teacher. Please continue.
Participants didn't know that the learner was really an actor and the so-called shocks harmless.
You're gonna get a shock. 180 volts.
So some people were like this man, who continued to apply the so-called electric shock even though it's not real, and the guy being shocked is an actor. Some people went all the way and kept turning up the voltage even though they stopped hearing anything from the other side. People respond differently to authority. And your personal instincts are on the table.
I think it's really important for me to remember, and for all my trans siblings out there to remember, is that the government cannot tell us who we are, and they will never be the arbiter of our identities. No matter what they say about our ID documents, we are still who we are, and we will find a way to be ourselves no matter.
Trans people make up like less than 1% of the population or something like that, and so the fact that the government is going after trans people should tell you how obsessed they are, and how misplaced and targeted this harassment truly is.
What we must, because living a lie,
just the numbers
trying
alone.
to be someone else, is death. It's an eternal death. So no matter what the government says or decrees, we will continue.
What I can find is that it's a security issue to allow someone to change their gender identity on their passport. Oh, is it? Is it a huge security flaw? Yes, people can evade border restrictions through the world. What, by pretending to be a different gender? What the fuck are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense.
It's an eternal death. So no matter what the government says or decrees, we will continue to be ourselves.
With an X on their passport? Exactly. Like,
beautiful, anointed.
It's not like ICE is established under this act and can only operate within this act. What are you talking about, man? They're operating outside of the Constitution.
Because trans is beautiful, because trans rights are human rights, and because trans people are anointed.
Trans actress Laverne Cox. The ACLU case stems from an executive order signed by President Trump in January that denies the existence of trans and intersex.
These are rules ICE have to follow to do any deportations. First of all, the term deportation implies some kind of due process. Yeah, but they're not even following that anymore. Yeah, there are no rules that ICE is operating under. They are a lawless Gestapo force. Get that through your fucking head.
Sex people, and says, quote, it's...
Here's the elephant in the room. People have human rights, no matter where they are in the world. And what we are seeing that ICE is doing is violating human rights. So as soon as you start to debate whether or not people have that, we're going to have a problem. All your bullying, all the bullying of you is justified.
The policy of the United States to recognize two...
If it's against any fundamental human rights, you can file an appeal in the Supreme Court right now. Oh, yeah? How are they going to file an appeal if they're disappeared? What fundamental right is being broken here? I mean, you have the right to not be brutalized by people in masks. There's like 5 of them, yeah. I want to know your fucking media diet, song singer. Because it is fucked. 200% fascist, dude.
I'm a transgender woman. I applied to renew my passport and have it marked as female, and they refused, and they sent it back to me as male. He does not get to tell me.
Undercover operations are a long-standing constitutional actions and provided for in HSA 2002. ICE cannot deport without due process. Well, I got news for you. They're doing it anyway. Do you understand that ICE is breaking the rules? That ICE is not following any governing body of law? Do you understand that? You're reading their rules, but they burnt the fucking rule book, my guy. But let's just take a look at the international human rights. What are the international human rights? You see how easy that is to Google? Fundamental freedoms and protections inherent to all people regardless of their identity. They are based on the principle of universal dignity. What part of that is being thrown on the ground and getting punched in the head? And are protected through international law. That supersedes American law. No, they can't go to court and Reverse it. They're being kidnapped at court. They're being sent to places where you don't come back from. They can't. They literally can't. Pillow is right. The right to life, freedom from torture, and free expression. Nothing can supersede the Constitution. What are you talking about? Are you saying that we can write a constitution that alienates human rights and then say that the whole world has to follow it? Get your head out of your ass. You're saying the most stupid shit right now. The United States violates international human rights all the time. You think we're the good guys? I mean, legally there is nothing stopping you, but yeah, Constitution is where all laws derive their authority. Which law is being violated here, though? What are you talking about, bro? There's something called international law. Have you heard of this? I'm asking you a direct question. Have you heard of international law? Yeah, international law is not enforceable in USA or anywhere for that matter. There it is. International law is applicable everywhere. Don't feed the animals, just ban them, can't debate fascists. Yeah, you have just outed yourself as a complete fascist. But I will debate you on the point that international law is enforceable in the USA. It's just we choose not to enforce it. We have a Gestapo military force. No, they are applicable in the countries who signed the treaty, for the time treaty is in force. Okay. Do you think human beings have value? Innately. Or do rules and laws have to be written in order to... Dude, the law broken, the international law broken, if you're also looking... What is ICE doing that is unconstitutional? Due process. Literally, yes. We've already covered this. If you keep asking the same questions, you're going to get banned. No, they are not. ICE is proving due process to no one. Rights are freedom to life. 4 people have been killed. Freedom from torture. They are all being tortured. And free expression. Some of them don't even have access to their lawyers and representation. Some of them are Muslims and their prayer mats have been stolen or taken away from them. Women are sometimes in the same holding cells as men. Their dignity is being violated. Is there anything else? Can you show me the cases where it has not been followed, events that are happening in... First of all, you're barely coherent. Yeah, man. Making a total fool out of yourself. You repeating, show me the law, show me the law, show me the law, is not the gotcha that you think it is. You can do your own research on your own time while you are banned from my fucking chat.
Who I am. Only I do.
My fucking God.
Of something bad happening to me if I...
Oh, but I'm on one today. This is some good coffee, let me tell you. Boy, let me tell you. Alright, I'll be right back. I just gotta refill my coffee. That whole argument was stupid. First, there is multiple cases about due process this year. Secondly, first of all, there is multiple cases about due process this year. Secondly, the only ones that are cases are because people are specifically protected here, and because of that, already had a lawyer, undocumented immigrants are being detained and deported without contacting anybody. Yes. Lawyers, not family, nobody. What he was doing was the logical fallacy of the appeal to legality. Which doesn't really work outside of a court of law. Where, I mean, rules are debated and then made. They're typically written in blood, and by that I mean there has to be a certain number of deaths and injuries for something to be made into law. And a lot of laws are written in blood, so to speak. The appeal to legality is always so fucking stupid, yes. It's what Destiny does a lot. It's what Lonerbox does a lot, if you know who Lonerbox is. It has been conservatives' favorite toy to play with in these conversations about ICE. But little do they know, all the entire media apparatus that they are consuming fails to mention these obvious facts. They failed to, actually draw the line from the Gestapo to masked people coming to drag minorities out of their homes or pick them up off the street. So glad I never seen any Destiny clips. I don't need to hear the opinion of somebody with an underage sexting partner. Bro, the last time I listened to Destiny speak was when he said that to solve the Palestinian problem, they need to all just go live somewhere else. I mean, and he said that while he was playing a video game on a Discord call with a bunch of people, and it's you're just an aggrieved white man who doesn't want to talk about brown people. That's all. You don't even like them occupying your thoughts. These people have the nerve to say having object sexuality or fictosexuality when people actually fuck kids, just like the people they support. Yeah. And you notice they're all pretty impartial to Israel as well. The pedophile homeworld. How do you find this stuff, Foundry? This would be a fucking thrill to watch on psychedelics. Are you kidding me?
Historically, it has been extremely difficult to sue the federal government if you believe your rights were violated. But now all that could...
No, what Song Singer was saying in the chat, apparently it's incredibly simple to do, and everyone who's been kidnapped, or in his words, deported, just need to sue the federal government from their torture hole, where they can't access a phone to call their lawyer. What do you mean it's extremely difficult?